Okay, Alan and Katie, so here was our lesson from just a couple of days ago. Um, he did well. He pitched a lot of good strikes. It was a good ball to strike ratio. But I wanted to put this up for you so that we can get Aiden now to the next level and work on some specific things for the next couple of weeks. I think we have 3 lessons left. If you'd like to continue on in the summer, just let me know, because there are definitely a few things that we should tackle here so that he's progressing at a good rate. And we have it's nice because I got the whole summer available now, so we can do it more on a consistent basis. But anyhow, let's get started. So here we go. Let's bring him up into his leg lift. And again, what we want to see here is we want to see some body movement, some early momentum. It's called the first move. It's trying to get those hips out a little bit. It's a tricky thing to do at his age. Something that we can always work back to getting. It's not the first thing that I would teach, but it's just something that I want you to know and what I'm aware of and what we're all aware of, really, so that we can see him progress into a pitcher with good motor skills and good movements that we see from some of the best pitchers in the world. So we want to see the hips go out first. We don't want to see the foot go out. So he kind of crunches the body in here. And again, we're looking for that momentum so that the hips are moving the body out, not the leg. And the reason why we want the hips to move out is so that it moves the body out, the mass of the body, which would be the trunk. That's his waist and up. If the hips don't move that out first, then they'll be behind the shoulders when they land instead of underneath the shoulders. And that is where the power and the speed and the ball speed is going to come from, is how effectively can we move the hips out. A lot of young kids at his age cannot do that effectively. I got lots of high school kids that still can't do that effectively. They're leg reachers, and they get comfortable posting up the back leg and then reaching out with the foot. So it slows momentum down. It's not like everything that of the high velocity pitchers do. Some people can get away with it, but the majority of them do move out early. So we have to work on his early weight shift at some point in the future, which would really help him to be a more effective pitcher using the body. So as we continue here, let's get out to where his leg drive would begin, which would be about right here, because the front foot is just about ready to turn. Most coaches would say that it would be like the 12th click out. I don't have the clicks for this, but if you can imagine 12 clicks out, here's where the back leg will drive. But here's the problem. Let's take a look at his force vector. It's very vertical. So he's not in a position right now to drive his body in a linear movement this way. Because he reached with his front foot, his momentum is moving out with his front side, not from the back side. So that's going to hurt him in his stride power and his stride length. So he's losing a lot more velocity than you think in the way he's throwing. And just to say that in a different way, he's got a lot more velocity in him. So here's where his leg drive will start. And what we want to see is an acceleration of speed into front foot plant. It's not really an acceleration. It's more of the same speed, and he kind of just drops the foot. And if you notice how vertical he stands, he's got, I don't know what the angle is here, but he is pretty tall, standing pretty tall, about 98 degrees. If that front leg were to kick out here more, oh man, I'm sick of these things. We'd see a bigger angle. His angle is way too steep. So he's a little too vertical, lack of leg power right there, okay? So let's move on here. I'll show you from the top view as well. So he kind of leans forward ipsilaterally towards his toes instead of keeping the chest back up and straight. And you can see how the front foot kind of leads out and just kind of pulls the body off the mound. All right. So we'll work on some leg power to improve that. All right, so let's move on. So as he gets into front foot plant, we want to see the hips open up, and he does have a little bit of some hip rotation there, not much, but there's something, and I think he'll get a lot more once he's able to really extend that leg and really drive off that foot and extend the ankle and this knee here. then the hips will really swing open. So when we look forward here now, we want to see how good he braces up the front knee. You can watch both angles here. How well does he brace up the front knee? Right about there, he braces up. Take a look. The reason why I say it's there is because that's where we see the knee stop to swivel. The knee will swivel here and then it will stop. So this is a critical point in the delivery here, because when the front leg braces, that's when the upper body is now supposed to start. But look at how far he's already into his throwing movement. He's already at external rotation, and he's just braced up the front knee. So again, we're talking about a lot of power here that's lost, and a lot of torque and a lot of overcompensation of the upper body to throw the ball. And this is why his arm is going to lay back late, and it's going to extend way past his face. Trunk tilt, his trunk, he has some good trunk tilt. I mean, his trunk thrust, I should call it, is right here, and it does lean forward nicely, but had he had more power from the back side, he definitely would have been able to get that chest out over his knee. All right, so that's where he braces up. You can see that he's already in the act of throwing. Where we want to see him bracing up is where, this is where we want to see the upper body. But it's already there when he finally stops, where the knee finally stops to swivel. Okay, let's take him out now here to full external rotation. Full external rotation will be about here. This is the point where we would like to see his chest out in front of that line. And it's a little bit behind the line, but, you know, over time we'll get there. From the front view, you won't really get able to get that perspective. All right, let's see where he's at pitch release. There's ball release. So see how his elbow is, you can see it in this angle here, his elbow is way out in front of his face. And it also came across very low underneath the ear. Look at how low that is. That's very, very stressful on his arm. So we're going to work on getting that arm up. We're going to work on a motor skill for him to remember how to get the arm up and to get what's called a trunk tilt, not a linear trunk tilt, but a horizontal trunk tilt. And I guess I can show you that at the next lesson. But if you can see this here or envision this, you see how his shoulder here is straight. It's way below his ear. Well, so is the back shoulder, where we want to see this shoulder come up, abduct up in front of his ear, or at least to ear height, so the elbow can get up and over, and the back shoulder would drop a lot more. Okay, so he's in a very vulnerable position here with the elbow, and if he's not feeling pain now, he definitely will as he gets older, and he gets bigger and stronger, and then there's more forces on that arm. So we will definitely work on fixing that as soon as we can. He does get good pronation there right away, so that takes some stress off the arm. And there's his follow through. Okay, so let's just recap. Had Aiden been able to get some more, let's just take a look first before we recap the front view. Keeps the head right on target there nicely. That's what he does really good. So see it, see the shoulders? See how straight across they are here? This is what we should see. This elbow should be up here, and his shoulder should be somewhere down here. But they're too straight, so he's not getting any horizontal tilt. But we can, something that we'll focus on and get that done. So that'll help the elbow out. It's a much better arm slot, and it'll move the arm faster, and it's just a healthier spot for it to be in. All right, so let's recap. So had Aiden been able to get more early momentum leading with the hips, not the foot, loading the back leg a little bit better, and exploding out of that load, and extending his stride a little bit by having more momentum and more power from the back end, and extending the ankle and the knee, he would have been able to turn the hips sooner. He would have been able to land quicker and rotate the front later, getting more horizontal tilt. And if he was able to get the arm up a little bit later, instead of swinging it up so fast, and then bracing up quickly, he would have been able to thrust that chest out and explode and get that arm up into some more horizontal tilt. And the ball release would be way up here above his head. these are all the things that we can really work on for the future. So I hope that helps you out. I guess I'll see you next time.